If only I had a good way to open this. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Man, I have not seen people so upset over a new guitar since 2018 with the modern Flying V. So here you go, Internet, for your viewing pleasure. This is the Machine Gun Kelly Razor Blade guitar. Okay, so the elephant in the room is a lot of people think this promotes self-harm. And if that's what you think when you see a razor blade, I understand trauma is a real thing. Feel free to skip this episode. However, razor blades can mean a whole lot of stuff. I mean, you can just shave your face. You can open up packages with them. Heck, you can also use them to help clean your fretboard and get that finger cheese off. According to the artist, he just really likes shaving. It soothes and relaxes him. So he just mixed his two hobbies together, and I can respect that. But, you know, we've seen weirder guitars, right? Zakk Wylde, back when he was with Epiphone and Gibson, they did coffin-style guitars. And this is a collaboration with Schecter, so they've done some weird stuff. They also have coffin guitars. They're the current producers of Zakk Wylde's brand, Zakk Wylde Audio. They also do guitars for Sinister Gates, although maybe not as crazy. But we've talked about some weird ones on the show. Like this weird breast cancer guitar. Can't forget good old lawsuit proof here. The meme guitar brought to life. Or what about the Roswell Rhodes Jackson UFO thing? My first impressions to seeing this thing get launched was, oh, okay, that's kind of dumb. But the first impressions holding it in my hands, they at least have this kind of cool mirror top thing going on where it is a plate put on top of like a nice sparkly metallic silver color on the back. I thought it was just going to be like a flat satin finish and be like really cheap. Now to be fair, the neck is a very nice high quality satin, so it actually doesn't feel that bad. We've got locking tuners. The face of the headstock has that nice silver paint too. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. However, it is a lot smaller than I was expecting. I was fully expecting it to be the size of this guy over here, but he's actually kind of tiny. It reminds me of like some Ned Steinberger guitars. But if the design didn't turn you off, here's the other thing people had an issue with. The price of $1,499 without a case. Now, I mean, keep in mind, signature guitar, and they had to craft a new body shape. Is it worth it? However, I am noticing straight out of the box, it looks like this thing's been played for a brand new guitar, so that's a bit of a bummer. But for the price, we at least get like some really good electronics, right? Well, you get a single humbucker, single volume control with a kill switch, tasteful or distasteful, depending on how you want to see it. So it's got design, specs, and signature person kind of working against it. But who is this Machine Gun Kelly anyway? The guitar community has a really bad habit of crapping on any rap artist that tries to play guitar on stage or in any of their songs. Like, look what we did to poor Lil Wayne here. But Machine Gun Kelly, he's an American rapper. I'm not familiar with any of his stuff. I'm not here to really teach you about him. All I know is he likes Pokemon and he likes Mario Kart, so can he really be that bad? If he's up on stage, maybe not playing the most sonically impressive things, but he's getting other people outside of the guitar realm maybe interested in it in a way that's not intimidating. I think we need to stop the bullying because look at the numbers he gets on these music videos. So I think Schecter and him paired up and intentionally designed something dumb that would get all this media attention to maybe help bring guitar back in the mainstream. Because that's the thing, in order to create guitar content, you have to be scary good at guitar. We're talking like Ichikanito or Zeppelin Barnatra, you know, Nathaniel Murphy over on Instagram, to like really get a giant cult following. And let's face it, most of us will never reach that level of playing, so it's hard to stand out. But ultimately, I think what gets guitar players upset is the fact that he got a signature guitar due to his reach rather than necessarily his skills. So if a controversial piece like this helps bring more guitar players in the world, sounds good to me. It's not my favorite, but it's wacky. But if you're a fan of his and this isn't necessarily your style or price, he also has a signature Telecaster for about $1,000. Honestly, I think that looks like a pretty cool design. A lot of YouTubers were trying those things out just to clown, but they seem to be all right. He also has an acoustic guitar if you're into that. And due to all the controversy and hate, some dealers don't seem to be actually stocking these. Like Sweetwater's website makes me laugh. It says, "We can get it fast." But it's not an item we regularly stock, like his other signatures. So here it is, Internet. Let's go ahead, throw it on the workbench, see what makes it tick, and then capture a playing sample of it. The Machine Gun Kelly Razor Blade guitar. All right, here's what it looks like without the pickguard on. But my goodness, Schecter, you need to change this. Holy cow. Do you guys see what this is? That's where the bridge rests on top of the pickguard, and that is residual film. This, at one point in time, had a big protective plastic film over it, but they leave that underneath the bridge with those little frills showing, and the only way to remove it is to remove your bridge. And the only way to get to those 3 screws is by removing all your intonation saddles, and then you can do this. At first I thought, oh yeah, that's cool, it's actually a cutout, and I don't have to worry about that player's marks before me, because it was a cutout around the bridge and the rest of it has it, but no, they're cutting corners. So you really do have to go through all those screws just to do that. But that is what holds this pickguard on top of it, are some screws. In the stock photos, it kind of looked like they were bolts, like you wouldn't be able to remove it. You also have 3 here, the bridge secures it on top of that, the knob is also big enough to keep it on there. Needless to say, that thing is on there tight, but it's just a reflective pickguard material. The back of it is actually completely black, and if you want to cut 2 holes in it, or just get rid of all your controls, you could have your razor blade look like this. Or you can run it naked. There's no chance of modifying this unless you want to route out more of the guitar. It's not a swimming pool, you can't put humbuckers or anything else in here. You're limited to just 1 pickup. The inside cavity looks like this, completely shielded off, and we've got 2 sponges. It looks like we're using the Pasadena Plus B pickup, Schecter's own creation. Then that gets secured by these 2 black screws. What is kind of cool is this is a string through instrument. So that's where the strings go through. These are the 3 holes that secure the bridge to the top, and then this is your grounding wire. But here we get a rare glimpse at the basswood body. Not sure how many pieces they make it out of, but it's basswood. This is a pretty basic bridge style. You can see your saddles, your intonation adjustment springs. And cool, we do have a branding on the back. This is a genuine hip shot product. And I'm not sure if this is by design or not, but the bridge was actually installed slightly crooked on this one. You can see the outline of it. It has an angle. So this is what straight is, and then you can see how it kind of veers. So this would be perfect straight. But again, I don't know, maybe that's part of the bridge design, something about intonation. At least it's not all that noticeable. And this is our master volume. Okay, I'm back. Pro tip, be careful messing with these pots. I was trying to turn it just to show you that I did, and this metal sliver just went into my finger. So this really is a dangerous guitar. Please be careful. It's kind of ironic I drew blood on this thing. But anyways, this is our kill switch. It's momentary. It's honestly really hard to move. So you're not going to do bucket head kill switch effects. You're going to be turn it on, turn it off. So that's perfect for his needs. And here's a look at the metal knurled knob that they use on the volume. Then I was kind of let down that they didn't bring the body to a point. It's just kind of a blunt box shape, I guess Bo Diddley vibes, you could say. I mean, at least they beveled the edges a little bit, and the pickguard itself also has an edge. I guess I can see how some people are drawing SH vibes from this because, I mean, when you're playing it, the location, okay, yeah. But I don't think that's what they were intending. I could be wrong. But let's continue enjoying it just for what it is. If you're curious where the output jack is, it's right here by your strap button, which is actually good because then you can tie it in and you're good to go. I also noticed a small ding right here on the corner, straight out of the box. Moving on from the basswood body, we have a 3-piece maple neck with an ebony fretboard. This neck actually feels really good. You've got his whole double X thing that was on his previous signature guitars. And the frets were actually polished very nicely straight out of the box, so you don't have to worry about playability necessarily. And the back says they set it up to play, so I mean it should be close enough if you don't tear it apart to take off the plastic film. If we want to get nitpicky, it looks like they might have slipped with their tool right there and gouged the fretboard a bit and the side of the neck. Then I'm not sure if that's wood grain or what that is, but these side markers are actually the lumen lays, so that means they glow in the dark, as you can see here. And if you're curious about the scale length, 25.5 inches. But we have a nice Graphtec nut, 1.68 inches at the nut, and by the 12th, 2.05. First fret neck depth, 0.84. Stays pretty consistent, 0.87 by the 12th. I wouldn't say blade thin, ha ha ha, but it is definitely a thin C-neck profile shape. Now if we want to really get up in their face, a little bit of sloppy paint work there. You can see where it kind of runs up along the edges there when it should be a nice clean silver. Similar things are true over here. You can see where the satin finish kind of actually ran up onto the top of the headstock and then over the edges there. I also noticed this strange line right here by the nut. I know in Gibson territory sometimes that'll occur, but it almost looks like it could just be in the finish. And then we do have a small finish dip right here on the neck too. we've got that Schecter Diamond Series headstock. And we can actually see the maple wood grain right here in our truss rod cavity. The neck itself also has carbon fiber reinforcements within it, on top of a two-way truss rod. The truss rod cover itself, very similar to our pickguard. Moving on to the back, they already designed the front pick guard. It would have been nice to also have that on the back, and then they could have like covered over the bolt-on neck design. How often do you actually need to remove that neck or shim it? Then they could have gave it a set neck vibe and have it front and back. You could flip it over for the audience if that's what you're trying to do. You could still have the string through ferrules with it, and then you wouldn't have even had to have created this thing, and then you wouldn't have to worry about buckle worming or rash. It could have been cool. But here's a quick look at our control cavity. The kill switch is just a pretty basic standby. And then you have a Korean-made pot. Then that route continues down here for our output jack. Then our bottom strap button. And then the other one is right here, almost making it look like a 5-bolt neck. And here's our oddly clunky but space-like edges. Kind of reminds me of like the Transformers head. You could put your own custom pick guards on this thing, because it doesn't have to be a razor blade if you don't want it to be. However, there's cheaper ways to get guitars like that. Nice glossy, sparkly silver metallic paint job, and then over here it's that black flat satin neck. But I wanted to talk about the heel a little bit. It's kind of interesting how they sculpted it. It's not symmetrical, but I think that's by design. This side of the neck has like a little bit more beefiness to it, whereas they shaved it away like just a little bit more. Because I think that's what people don't like about this, is it's kind of a clunky design right here. They could have like shaved the back a little bit to make it a little bit more player friendly. But you have to remember, it's a signature guitar. It was built to this guy's specs, and he's not necessarily ripping any crazy solos past the 17th fret, very similar to me, so he doesn't necessarily need it. But these are being made in South Korea, as you can see here on our serial number. And I've got to say, these locking Schecter tuners work very well. And they have a large area to grip, at the expense of having a larger profile, but these feel very comfortable to use. And just for fun, here's what it looks like under blacklight. No damage has ever been done. Guess this might be a slightly better lighting situation to show you the lumen lays than before. And even our double X's has a light glow to it due to the pearloid material, but no hidden surprises that I see straight out of the box. Although using the blacklight like supercharged those things, so this is what it'd be like in a pitch black stage if you hit it with a UV light right beforehand. Those work surprisingly good. It's like those little fish at the zoo. Cool. But how much do you think this thing weighs? 7 pounds, 5.4 ounces. Let's go ahead, plug it in, and hear how it sounds. There we go. We walked upon the razor's edge. How's it feel to play? It's very neck heavy. The action is pretty high. And when I tried to dial it lower, I just got a whole bunch of fret buzz. So probably needs a professional setup out of the box, but common for most new guitars. It's just, they have a sticker back here that says it was already set up, but you gotta remember, it gets shipped from them to the dealer, then the dealer to you. Your intonation should be close. But does anybody else like get Charlie Brown vibes from this? It looks like the middle of his shirt. But this bridge humbucker's like really bright. It's not good sustain though. So I had to dial my amp in a little bit differently. It was just too cutting of a tone. kill switch, that's about what you can do with it. Off and on. Not good for stutter effects. So there we go. We're not even a month into 2024, and I think we already have this year's most infamous guitar. A little bit of controversy, a whole lot of hate. Is it worth the $1,500 price tag, all that aside? No. It's a unique conversation piece. So if you just want the bragging rights, yeah, it's worth it for that. But just pick up one of his Teles if you want to sport his name on a guitar, because I think you're going to have a better time. Not that I've tried one of those, but I know Schecter does make pretty good mid-range level guitars. Now, how does it feel on a strap, besides the neck heaviness? I mean, it doesn't feel that weird. It's a strange shape to the audience, but it's got that beveled edge right here that you really don't notice. It really does kind of feel like a Steinberger guitar. Had this been a headless design, maybe people would have liked it. But in my opinion, a few too many QC issues on this one as far as the fine nitty-gritty details, and it definitely needs setup. So I hope you guys enjoyed checking it out and hearing how it sounds. Very bright and attacking. I would not expect anything less. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day. And you might even enjoy this next one.